file 17993NA.
All right, we're on record today for our third review. It's also a permanency planning hearing. The review is on the progress of both parents. We've started a little bit late, but neither parent has appeared despite that extra time. And nobody's on Zoom or in person. Nevertheless, we'll proceed with the hearing. Notice has been served to both of them. May I have the names of our participants, please?
Katarina Dumont, lawyer, guardian ad litem.
Good morning, Your Honor. Nicole Underwood appearing on behalf of Nastasha Thomas as counsel for the department. Ms. Harvey?
Sarah Harvey, DHHS.
Michael Brooks, I represent the mother, Jennifer Webb.
Good morning, Alexis Stang, on behalf of the respondent father and filling in for Mr. McFarland.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's start with your report whenever you're ready, Ms. Dumont.
Yes, Your Honor, I was able to meet with the minor child at her school. Physically, she looks great. She was clean, dressed appropriately. Her hair was brushed and cut. I know she previously had some issues with it tangling. I also talked with the school there. They said she had one absence only, and it was for an appointment, so it wasn't excused. Other than that, no tardies, no absences. I know she was almost probably truant when the dad were tardy. She did tell me she misses her mom and dad. She wants to see them both again, wants to know when she can see them both again. But with regards to her current placement, she said that's going well, but she does have chores to do, so she's not a huge fan of that. But I think it just tells me that she has structure and expectations of her that she's never had before. So it is a big difference where previously she was able to do whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted, and now she has kind of a schedule. She's still working towards getting that Xbox. She has 2 more books to read. She's already done 8. So I think placement told her when she read 10, she could get it. So she's pretty excited about that. She's also excited for Halloween. She's going to be Spider-Man. She's been to the dentist. She got the dental work she needed. That one tooth has been removed, and I think she has some crowns in as well. I'm very concerned with parents' progress or lack thereof. Luckily, she is in a stable placement where she is thriving, and they are willing to provide permanency. I think it's in her best interest to continue the current placement. It's also the least restrictive. I also think that the goal of switching to adoption is appropriate at this time, and the continued suspended parenting time with both parents is in her best interest, even though it's not necessarily what she wants at this point due to lack of services being completed.
Were you able to speak with her specifically with regard to her preference, if any?
Her preference would be to be with mom and dad, but I don't think she understands where they're at or what's going on with that situation since she isn't having any parenting time.
Given her age, would you recommend at this point that we appoint an attorney on her behalf, given the conflict between her best interests and her wishes?
I would think that it would be appropriate, seeing as the goal will likely change to adoption as well. And I don't think she understands yet at this point that that's where the case is going.
Is her, she's with her brother, yes?
Yes.
Okay, and he's willing to offer permanency if needed? Okay. Thank you. All right, testimony today, Ms. Underwood.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Prior to calling Ms. Harvey as a witness, I would just indicate that proof of service states the court report and several attachments have been served as required by law. I would ask at this time that the parties stipulate to the admission of the court report, the ICWA documentation, the Parkside letter, as well as, I believe, the child's trauma assessment for purposes of the review and permanency planning hearing.
No objection.
No objection.
No objection.
Very well, thank you. The report and the exhibits are received. Ms. Harvey, come on up to our witness stand.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Good morning, Ms. Harvey. Could you state your name for the record, please?
Sarah Harvey.
And Ms. Harvey, did you draft the court report that is before this court today, as well as provide all the attachments?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Since you submitted and served this report, have you obtained any other attachments you would like the court to consider today?
No,
Okay. To the best of your knowledge, are there any updates or modifications that need to be made to the court report or attachments?
no updates.
It seems though from your report, there has been very little, if really no progress from either parent during this review period. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Have there been attempts made to communicate with the parties, each respondent parent throughout the last reporting period?
Yes, I attempted some home visits, unannounced. Also, there have been emails and text messages.
Okay. It seems as though maybe there was a little bit of parenting time at the beginning of this reporting period with respect to mom, and that just sort of abruptly stopped. Is that correct?
Yes, there were, I believe, 2 parenting times at the very beginning of this reporting period, right after our last court hearing. And then for the third, mom did not confirm her appointment. And then when anyone tried to reach mom, her phone was unavailable. We couldn't reach her by home visit. We checked on her multiple times, and her phone, when it did come back into service, and she reached out to Parkside. Parkside told her that they would need to see some services in place, some other services, and see her participate in those in order to start up her visits again. And she has not indicated that she started any other services.
Okay, thank you for that. Is it also true, it looks as though through the child's trauma assessment that neither parent participated in that assessment?
That's correct. And that was confirmed with mom. Dad, I never received a confirmation back from him, an acknowledgement of me telling him via email and text message that when the trauma assessment was. But mom had confirmed, and then she no-showed the appointment.
Okay. In your opinion, has there been significant or sufficient progress to continue towards reunification?
No, I don't believe that there's been any progress.
Is the department seeking a goal change at this time?
Yes,
And what would that goal change be?
adoption.
Okay. Has adoption been discussed with current placement?
Yes,
And is that something that he is, or they're willing to explore and proceed with if the court were to change the goal today?
yes, placement's very aware of the expectations and what would be required, and they are willing to do that.
Okay. Are the child's educational and health needs being met at this time?
Yes,
Are there any unmet needs that the court can help with or address at this time?
no, not at this time.
Okay. And in your opinion, is there a substantial risk of harm if the child were to be returned to either of the parents' custody today?
Yes, I think that the same risks of harm that were present at removal are still present today.
Right, thank you. Is there anything else that you would like to report today or notify the court of at this time?
No.
Thank you, Ms. Harvey. I have no further questions.
Cross-examination, Mr. Brooks?
No questions, Your Honor.
Ms. Stang?
Just briefly, thank you. Ms. Harvey, are there any indications that father's phone number that you've been attempting to contact may not be in service?
I do not believe so. The messages appear to go through. I've also sent him emails. The phone does ring and often goes to a message telling you that a voicemail box is full when you attempt to call.
Okay. Has he ever responded from that email address that you've been emailing in the past?
At the very beginning of the case, he did respond, and I know that he received information because he indicated to that at court also that he had received information via that email.
Okay. And then have you checked with the local jails or hospitals recently to determine if he may at either of those places?
I have checked at local jails. Actually, I do that about weekly to check on both parents.
Okay. I have nothing further. Thank you.
Ms. Dumont?
Ms. Harvey, do you think it's in the minor child's best interest to have no parenting time with either parent at this point.
Yes, I believe that parenting time, being so sporadic, really put Willow in a negative space. She really expects high things from her parents, and I don't believe that her current expectations and wants for her parents are something that they can provide at this time.
And you had mentioned that she is in counseling. Do you know the counselor she's currently seeing?
Yes, she sees Mike Fuller at Parkside.
And how's that going?
It's a big struggle. She has really struggled to open up to Mike. She tests her boundaries at every appointment. He calls her a little bit of a pistol sometimes. She's always pressing his buttons and really does not want to open up and talk. When they speak about her parents, she will only talk about positive things. She won't talk about any negative things. He believes that she thinks he is the person deciding whether or not she should have contact with her parents. So he thinks that she's portraying her parents only the positive things so that she can see her parents.
Do you think that counseling is sufficient for her, or do you think she needs any other services?
I think right now we're going to stick with the counseling. I had hoped that therapeutic visits would provide another form of counseling in that, but it just didn't seem to be working out.
Nothing further. Thank you.
Excuse me. Do you have any reason to believe that these two parents are planning together, as we say sometimes?
I don't actually believe so. There seems to be some very serious animosity between the two. So I would actually indicate the opposite. I would think that they were more apt to play against each other than to go together.
Okay. I see that there was a contact with law enforcement with James back in August. Have you checked to see if there are any calls to the last known residents of either parent to see if some of those dynamics for domestic violence and substances and criminalities?
Yep.
Has that been happening?
Yep, about monthly, I check on both parents. There haven't been any calls to Ms. Webb's address, only interactions with Mr. Marawali.
Okay. Just the one, or was there more than that?
There was just one. The other ones were things that we had previously talked about in the last hearing.
Thank you. All right. Any questions based on my questions?
No,
No,
Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from? Ms. Underwood?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
well, I have no client. I haven't heard from her. And I have no witnesses.
Ms. Stang?
No, thank you.
Ms. Dumont?
No one to the Your
Very well. Comments in closing, beginning with Ms. Underwood.
Thank you, Your Honor. Due to the parents' lack of progress and lack of even being here today, I do think it's appropriate for the court to consider changing the goal from reunification to adoption at this time. I believe it is in the child's best interest and consistent with, again, the court rules. At some point, again, the lack of progress is going to continue to impact this child, and the department should not have to continue to attempt to make reasonable efforts on parents that are clearly choosing not to participate at all in their case services plans or provide any information to the department. So again, we would just ask for goal change to adoption at this time with a review as well. Thank you.
Mr. Brooks?
I have no comments, Your Honor.
Ms. Stang?
I have no comments and take no position since the client hasn't been available to confer with.
Ms. Dumont?
Yes, Your Honor, I have no objection to the goal switching to adoption and the appointment of a court-appointed attorney for the minor child. I think it's apparent she's trying to protect her parents, to be able to see them again and to be able to be with them again. But I've been incredibly impressed with her current placement and the structure and love they're providing her with. So hopefully the longer she's there and the longer she's in counseling, she can work through some of that.
Thank you. Well, the court finds all interested parties were given notice for purposes of today's review and permanency planning hearing. That was reviewed briefly by Ms. Underwood. It's also documented in the file. These parents have both appeared at some point at different reviews to be told of the next review as well directly and could have been abreast of what was happening in the next court dates if they had appeared. Unfortunately, their lack of appearance here today echoes what Ms. Harvey has seen over the last few months in the last report period as well. The child is in need of a court-appointed attorney. I will appoint her that in order to ensure that her wishes are known, and she has her own advocate here based on what I've heard from Ms. Dumont. But I do find that the goal change is appropriate, with neither parent engaged in any services around historic drug use and criminality associated with that, domestic violence dynamics in the home, and a real history of, unfortunately, neglect of their daughter. I can't justify leaving the goal of reunification open. We're at our third review. That's 9 months. The child's been removed from the home since April 29th, 2025, and 6 months is what the court has to look at as far as when that removal occurred. Jurisdiction began with Mr. Marwelli having the responsibility to care for his daughter. And then she had to be removed out of his care during the period of time that he was supposed to be working on his case services plan. Unfortunately, we saw a significant dip in his cooperation and in his caretaking of his daughter. She has made significant progress since she's been in the placement with her brother. The counseling does also share some interesting insight about where the child is at. She's been sharing some of her experiences while living with her mother. And then I'm just going to quote from the court report, but made excuses for her mother's behavior and often blames herself. When asked about her dad, she's protective or avoidant. It's noted that at one point, she discussed watching YouTube videos about the government and not being able to trust people because they lie. This supports the concerns regarding her exposure to topics and discussions that are not age appropriate, which was something that we saw reoccurring with her being in her father's care. So her parents are not available to her now and didn't choose to engage in services that would allow them to provide a safe and stable home for themselves or for her, which is really unfortunate because obviously she has a lot of affection for her parents and would like them to be part of her life. Moving forward, it is appropriate to allow that her brother may be the person who continues to provide permanency for her in the long run so that she can continue to make strides in improving and even diagnosing some of the things that have been challenges for her. There is an outstanding analysis to be done as far as fetal alcohol syndrome and potentially some analysis of her cognitive abilities as well, and to make sure that she's able to process things appropriately and learn. And there may be additional services in the future for some of those things too. And her parents weren't even available to consent for purposes of getting her dental work finished, which is also unfortunate. Obviously, bad teeth are very painful for everyone, including children. So there's a lot of reasons, unfortunately, that I have to change the goal to adoption today. But I do think it's in the child's best interest. It's necessary and appropriate to look for permanency. And we'll set our next review hearing in the next 90 days. The court order will reflect satisfaction of our agents as far as our attorneys and our service providers and our caseworker, as well as our guardian ad litem. So thank you everyone for your efforts. The child will remain in the placement that is the safest and least restrictive under the circumstances. I will also direct the department to file the petition for termination of parental rights in conjunction with this goal change today, as I think the parents have nearly effectively abandoned the child at this point. 90 days is unfortunately all it takes, or perhaps fortunately, when you're looking at permanency and who's going to be taking care of a child. 90 days is a long time to be without a parent, even asking for visitation. And we're nearly there with the lack of contact between these two parents and the child. So I am going to order the department to file that petition for termination of parental rights. We'll set the next review hearing along with a consolidated termination trial if it's timely filed and served. And I would offer to you the morning of January 12th at 10:30 in the morning. Is everyone available, just in case our regulars are continuing to be unavailable?
Works for me.
You said January 12th.
I did 10:30 in the morning, and I would set it for an hour and a half, just to ensure that we have enough time if the termination petition is timely filed and served.
That works for me in the event that Mr. McFarland is not available.
If Ms. Thomas is unavailable, I am also available at that time.
Thank you, ladies.
Fine.
Great, all right. Well, you can expect the court order in the mail, and unless there's any questions, that's all.